You can have yours right there. Okay, if you go on page, if you go into this one, but go into view meeting details, right here, come on. Then over here, you get into everything as we follow along.
Okay. Well, that makes more sense. The guy kept saying rest. I'm like, oh, what's going on?
Okay. All right, I guess Miss Dr. Parker's still talking, so we'll go ahead and start. So I want to call the meeting to order. Welcome all of you to our April board meeting. We thank you for your attendance and excited to get to shake some hands of some very great student athletes that are here with us tonight and all. Want to start with our prayer and Pledge of Allegiance. Trustee Sukan will be leading our prayer, and Cooper Stimson will be leading the Pledge of Allegiance. Please stand.
Bow our heads. Our Father in heaven, we come to you tonight thankful for our many blessings. We thank you for this awesome community that we live in. And Lord, most of all tonight, we just ask that you will be with us and guide us as we make decisions that affect the education of our kids. And we say these things in the name of your Son, Jesus Christ. Amen.
Amen.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Please be seated. Oh, except for this fine gentleman right here, I would like to be, we as a board are very excited to be announcing to you tonight a special guest that decided to come and join the meeting. Mr. Larson will be our next superintendent, so if you would please, Spencer Larson. We are looking forward to having him here. We have some talks with you and Dr. Parker, though.
Okay.
That's what he told us. He was rethinking the whole thing, but we have his signature.
Yes.
Yes, and we're not tearing it up.
Okay.
Okay. So we have before us our agenda for the evening. Does anyone have any comments or questions regarding the agenda? Oh, I was made aware that we also have our new student nutrition specialist here with us tonight. New person is Katie Rogers. We're thrilled to have her as well. Thank you for coming. Okay, agenda. Anyone have any comments or questions? Then I would entertain a motion for approval of our agenda for this evening.
Chair, I'll make that motion.
Motion by Mr. Sukan, second by Ms. Sanderson. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. We have our agenda. Did anyone have any questions on our consent agenda? No? Okay. Hearing none, the consent agenda is adopted by unanimous consent. We have some reports tonight. Mount Harrison would like to go first. Where did you go?
Sorry.
All right.
Sorry, is that the consent agenda with the minutes? Sorry, I'm new to everybody.
This is his first meeting as an official,
So
more official.
like I said, I have all the faith in Mr. Larson, but I noticed in one of the minutes it showed that I voted twice. And in case he doesn't do well, I want to make sure I wasn't noted as voting twice. But if he does well, then great. I voted twice for him. But I believe Trustee Perez was not listed on there as. That's what I was trying to find. I highlighted earlier, but it's not showing highlighted anymore. So, but it was on the one where we voted him in there. Yes, on the correction on the minutes, it showed that I had voted twice, and Trustee Perez had not voted.
Okay. With apologies to Mr. Perez, we will get that fixed. Thank you for pointing that out. I missed it. Mount Harrison. Is the light on that microphone? Okay. And don't forget to introduce yourself, please.
Okay, so
It's not on.
Okay. So
There we
we
go.
are Mount Harrison, and so we are currently having a spring fling. On Monday, we had a black and white day. Tuesday, we're having a twinning day. Wednesday, excuse me, we're having a tie dye power day, and that's also going to be where we hold our dance. And then on Thursday, we are just going to have a casual paid for us, and that is to help the kids, the juniors that are currently doing their ISATs and their testings, just to celebrate it and celebrate the middle of the quarter.
Before you pass the mic, your name, please.
Erica Brego.
Erica, thank you.
Hey, don't fight over the microphone, guys.
We won't bite. I promise we won't bite.
Okay.
And tell us your name before you get going, too. That we want to know who you guys are.
Alright, my name is Diana Munoz. So we went to a school trip to ISU. It's the tech fair. Um, there was a lot of people. We were learning some new things and things what we should do for our future. And we also had a student showcase. It was in March where all the parents can come and see what the students or their kids have been doing. And we have quarter three or four of the graduates, and yeah,
So, what did you like at ISU?
um, mostly they're welding.
They're what?
They're welding.
They're welding.
Welding.
Awesome.
Yeah, thank you.
Like that.
Thank you.
My name is Brianna Mendoza. The juniors have been doing their ISATs. They're almost finished, so I'm pretty proud of them. Graduation is on May 1st at Minico in the auditorium. The end of the year barbecue is where you just get to hang out with your friends and bring family. There's a bouncy house, horses, and more activities. The seniors will be going on a trip to Lagoon on May 25th.
Great. Awesome.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Does anybody have any questions for any of our young people? Thank
Thank
you
you for
for
coming.
braving the lion's den and coming in. We appreciate it. Minico. Ellie, are you here?
She is.
Yeah.
Look at her. Is this your last time?
No, next
You have
month.
one more.
More?
One more. Okay.
Should
Is it
be.
on? Oh, there you go. I actually have to talk about that today. Makes me sad. Okay, so I'm Ellie Contreras. For those who don't know me, I'm the school board representative, and I come every other Monday to talk about Manico news. So, starting, we're gonna start saying that we had our assistant teacher appreciation. We, well, I am very thankful that we have Mr. Merrill and Mrs. Coleman working with us. We are really grateful for them. Moving on, we had our Mr. MHS back. But this year was a little different because they decided it as a Miss MHS. We actually had two winners for our Mr. MHS. We had Juan Garza. He goes by JT Garza. And for our Miss MHS, we had Clarissa Juarez. So congrats to both of them. We also had our big band dinner dance fundraiser, which was a really success. This month, we are actually having ISAT testing and SAT testing as well. Okay, this one's excited. So, this Saturday, actually, we're gonna have prom on the 22nd. However, next week we have senior presentations on Friday. I'm a little scared about that. We have Teacher Appreciation Week following, Secretary Day, and Spring Fling. Also, the last thing, the next meeting that I'll have with you guys will be a week away from graduation. So that will be my last meeting with you. However, I'll bring the next girl, which I think she's gonna do great. And yeah, that's all I have for you. Do you have any questions?
All right, no questions? Nope. Again, we thank you for coming and giving us the report on activities at Minico, and we will miss you.
Oh,
I'm
thank
glad you have one more.
I'll miss you too, guys. Have a great night.
Thanks, Ally.
All right, thank you. Minico High School Wrestling. I think there's just a few wrestlers here.
A few.
Who's going to bring them forward? Oh, he needs the microphone. Because this is recorded and you need to be able to hear, people need to be able to hear. Going live.
Is it red on the bottom?
It's red there. Just push it
It's
once.
push
Push
it
it
once.
once and hold it.
That it?
There you go.
There you go.
I'd feel a lot more comfortable talking if we put a wrestling mat out on the floor here.
It'd look better too.
So I wasn't warned that I have to speak. I was just told to be here, but I'll introduce the wrestlers here. I'll have them share their name with you, and I'll share their accomplishments.
I'm Eli Stimpson. Andre Valero.
Daniel Salinas.
Landon Schmidt. Nehemiah Naranjo.
Lindsay Robinson. Cecilia Salinas.
Cooper Stimson. Michael T.
I don't think the mic is
It isn't.
On off.
Garrett Bell.
Isaac Armendariz.
Just give me one of these.
Still green.
Oh, well, I don't think they probably always have these tiny little voices, but I think they get in front of a microphone and they forget how to speak anything louder than a whisper.
So, just as a report, we were fortunate enough this season to win our second state championship at the Idaho High School State Wrestling Tournament. So you see the trophy down there, but we, the best part about these young men and young women is their behavior and their character off the mat. They're bigger champions off the mat than they are on the mat, and we're grateful and excited for that. So, thank you.
Are you the two state champions here in class?
We have one, Garrett Bell, holding the trophy. He was a state champion, now a two-time state champion. Preston Sonner-Cranny was unable to come. He texted me just before and said he couldn't get off work to get here in time. So,
Well, we want to give all of you our congratulations and thank you for coming before us. And you have one more responsibility, and that is you have to come around and you have to shake our hands.
Hey, Bonnie.
Sir.
They did say their second championship, but it's back to back.
Yes.
Yes.
They are back
So
to
let's
back.
just always, that's not.
Yes.
That's pretty exceptional.
Between coaches and wrestlers, we
Yes.
have an amazing wrestling team.
I've
Always
got a
have.
good friend of mine from Washington who's really into wrestling, and he called me up and said, "Don't your kids go to Minico?" And I said, "Well, Colton's graduated. Yeah, we're here in Minico." And he said, "They have an incredible wrestling program. It's all the way up in Washington, up in Pasco, Washington. So people know about you guys. You guys, Clay just said, not just what you guys do on the mat, but off the mat. And I just love that people, not only in our state, but outside of our state, look at it and go, what a program that is. And that's incredible. Congratulations to all of you guys."
I'm going to go back to back on that because our wrestling program has been phenomenal. My kids went through it. Rick Stimson went through it. And let me tell you, we did some state champions way back then. And it has been phenomenal and it has stayed strong. And Spartan strong. Go. Good job, guys. Okay, Rick. Awesome. 190. What is it? 120. 120. Awesome. I love that. Back to back. 120. 235. Awesome. Good job, girls. Good job. 120. 98. And bail. Good job, Ash. Good job.
Thanks, Mary.
Hey, forever and ever. Thank you. Yeah, my son's in Everett. It was on the news up there. He calls me, "You just took Scotch."
Yeah.
I go, "Yeah, we did."
Yeah, it's incredible.
Probably my favorite part of the meeting, and it just goes over too fast. But we thank you all for coming. Were there any patron comments turned in? Okay. Did anyone have any comments or questions on the discussion items as far as the reports that we have before us? And I do know that there's a few things I want to ask about letter D, but administrator department committee reports, any comments or questions? And we don't have any policies to discuss. I'm not sure that that's
Wow.
happened before, but anyway, it's been
It's been a long day.
yeah, it's been a long day. Our superintendent report. Anyone have comments or questions for our super who writes the super notes every week?
They're awesome. Thanks for taking the time.
And congratulations on your new driveway.
Yes, congratulations. Can we come and put
Half of it.
Oh,
It's
half.
a- It's a really good start.
Can we come and put our initials in it?
Nobody better drive there if you're
Okay. All right. Is Colleen here?
Yep.
There you are. I'm just blind. Never mind. Does anyone have questions regarding the transportation software called BusRite that is in our board book for us to look at?
My biggest question is, it looks pretty interesting. Do you think it'll be something that will help us retain drivers and attract drivers, and will it help any in that regard?
I hope so, Russ. Right now, we're really struggling this week.
I know you are.
This week's going to be Excel or struggles.
Yeah.
We're all out on routes this whole week. I only have Boone in the shop and running the front desk. So even my dispatcher's not running this week because of all the sickness and everything that's been going on with our stuff. I must say, with this right turn, left turn by voice command, it will help tremendously versus trying to read it off of this. This is what I drove with today. And I had it, kind of held in my hand here and here.
Yeah.
So a little dangerous, I would think, with this in my hand versus a voice command. I did visit with them, and Cameron knows this, that they will take care of all of our service part of it. We will install it with a theme that they will, our tech guys will not have to service it. So they will have service. But my concern with it is it's at a 50% reimbursement. I found that out this afternoon late.
It's not 85.
It is not.
Is there any school districts that are using it now?
Yes, Kimberly used it.
Used it?
Kimberly School District.
Used it,
Yes.
but don't use it now.
They are using it.
Oh, okay.
And what they like about it is the parent can see where the bus is. They'll see the bus approximate time to their bus stop. They won't see everybody else's theme, but just their bus theme with the app for the parents, so that they can download and put it onto their phone. So if Kara's running late, you can find out if she's running late there, Russ.
So I know when to get home and get my kindergarten.
Right. It's going to help tremendously on phone calls, because we get a lot of phone calls that say buses don't show up. And I'm going, okay, I call them and my bus driver says, yeah, I was there and I waited 5 minutes. So this way it's out, it's on Unity on TV, you can track it. So, but the 50% reimbursement is $17,000. 17.5.
That's total cost, and then we get reimbursed for 50% of that.
No, it's
the other way.
$35,000.
It's 30.
We get reimbursed
Okay.
for that. So, and I don't know how that comes out of my budget or where it comes out of. So, I haven't had a chance to visit with Michelle because I just barely got this news late as I came in off my bus route today.
Okay.
Have you talked to Kimberly by
I
chance?
had talked to Kimberly. I visited with Sean, and the days that we were so cold and had a snow day, they went because the parents were able to see what time the buses were going to be there, so they could send out their kids, and they didn't have to send out the cold.
Did you by chance ask them about any of their rural routes? That's the thing I'm concerned about is how well the navigation is going to work out in the rural areas.
In the rural areas.
Mm-hmm.
Good question. One, we actually put Carrie's route to a test with this one up in Boise last summer, and Carrie's route, it matched it right to a T.
Perfect. Good.
And hers is a tough route.
Yeah.
Yeah, historically GPS just doesn't navigate well out on that
Right.
route particularly.
Right.
So that's
and
interesting.
we use Google Maps and some other stuff on that. So,
And they're not going to have any pivot roads being where the bus needs to go.
right.
That'll be great.
It does take 60 days for us to get this up and activated. If we do it, we need to be ready to go. And Carrie's going to be a lead on this because she understands computers better than I do. And so she is going to take this lead and hopefully have it ready to go by August if we go with it. So we do understand registrations in August, but hopefully we can go off of what we have and do our maps and work off of that.
Okay. Wonderful.
Thank you.
Perhaps, Dr. Parker, you can find out where we have funds to come from for it.
Sure. Or know somebody that can later.
Anyone have any comments or questions?
I think it sounds great as long as we can pay for it. So.
It is a 3-year contract. So we did ask that today, and we did find that out, and it is a 3-year contract.
So that $35,000 would cover the 3 years?
No, it's
That's
like
per year.
$17,000 each year.
Each year, okay.
And what happens if we're not happy with it?
Sign a 3-year contract. Right. Right. Keep it on it. You asked if it was not a 3-year contract. They did. We did ask that today, and they said that if the price would change off of a yearly basis. So we did ask.
You say it will change on a yearly
The
basis?
price.
If we didn't go with
If
the
we didn't
3-year
do it,
contract, it would be a higher price.
Okay. Okay. All right. Any other comments or questions? If it'll help, that's what we need.
Bus drivers have never been on the route before.
Yeah, especially if you
Sub
when you have to do
drivers.
sub drivers and things like that. That would be my nightmare. Is having to drive a bus where I don't know where I'm going. Okay. Any other comments? And we'll move on to our business action items. The budget hearing letter from Ms. DeLuna regarding when we have to have being able to post and have our budget meeting for the amended for the 22-23 and then the 23-24 school year budgets.
So I just noted that the dates that were on there, I don't know if that was supposed to be 2 different dates, but it's the same date twice.
Right. We usually have the meeting one
Back
right
to
after
back.
another, back to back in the June board meeting.
It's at the same time and everything. So.
Yeah, it is. Well, and we always have to look at the end of the year of the budget and see where it had to be adjusted so that we give the approval for that. So you know. Let's see. Do I hear a motion to accept the dates for the budget hearing?
Madam Chair, I'll make the motion that we approve the dates for the budget hearing.
Motion by Mr. Sukan,
Second.
second by Mrs. Anderson. Any comments, questions? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Summer school request for Harrison Junior High. Everyone, excuse me, I knew that too. Minidoka Junior High. Sorry, Diane. So this is coming out of the Iman grant then still? This comes out of the Iman grant, correct?
That's in debate.
That's a,
It's in debate. I've also put in an application for alternative summer school, so
okay,
from one or the other.
all right. But your letter said Iman, so I was, or the proposals, so, okay,
It's shifted over there.
all right. Anyone have any comments or questions regarding her request? No, it would entertain a motion, if y'all think this is okay, a motion to accept the Minidoka Junior High Summer School request.
I'll make that motion.
Motion by Mrs. Anderson,
Second.
second by Mr. Claridge. Comments, questions? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. We have a job description that is before us for approval for the nutrition services assistant rather than secretary, right? Okay. And then also for the student behavior and wellness director, then we heard about that in our work session, having a person to direct this. And does anyone have any comments or questions?
I guess my comments were on the food service assistant change. I mean, just with there's some stuff highlighted in there was that change stuff that we're doing to this particular thing. Some stuff is scratched out. That's why I was trying to figure out what exactly we're changing then.
Katie did the changes.
Yeah.
Do you have any answers for him on what you've eliminated and what you've added
So
to?
what's stricken out is the current job description, and what's highlighted is my proposed changes.
So those are ads then.
Correct.
Okay.
Okay. Any further questions? And I would entertain a motion for approval of these two job descriptions that are before us for the nutrition services assistant and student behavior and wellness director.
I'll make a motion.
You need to see the whole thing.
I'll make a motion to approve the nutrition services secretary and the student behavior and wellness director job descriptions as listed.
Thank you, Mr. Claridge. Motion by Mr. Claridge,
Second.
second by Mr. Sukan. Any other questions?
So will this, the nutrition services secretary, will that just come out of the nutrition budget? Okay.
Yeah, and it's only one step up as far as the salary goes, so it's not a huge change at all.
Yeah, we need to call it an assistant because it's more than a secretary.
Sure.
That's, yeah. As he mentioned a bit ago that there was just more to the job now than
Sure.
what was before. Okay, so
Okay.
I would, let's see. All those in favor of the motion that's on the floor currently, please say aye.
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 Any opposed? Motion carries. We have job descriptions. We have a cross-country proposal from East and West, or East or West, Mr. Killoy.
From east. I don't know where the west guy is.
Oh, we're here. That's what counts, Grant.
Yeah, that's all right. So I sent a proposal. I'm Grant Killoy, the athletic director at East Minico. I sent you guys a proposal. I hope you all had that, read that. We have some concerns. We would like to split East and West. We're the only one in the conference that we're combined. The second thing is our kids are missing about 40 minutes a day trying to catch a bus to go out to Minico. And then when they get out there, they're unsupervised until our teachers get done teaching and they have to get out there, which is around 4:30. So it's a safety issue to us. And we are on probation anyway from school. So that 40 minutes, they can do IXL for math or whatever they need to do to bring our scores back up. Second of all is we run cross country Pomeroy, Rock Creek, Wood River, and we would like to have an assistant because if we have a kid sprain their ankle, we have one coach who's going to take care of the rest of it. So that's my proposal for a safety issue also. And then we thought we could share busing because we all go to the same spot. So wherever our bus driver is, would pick us up or West up, and we would use him. But you know, I've been here 4 years, and 2 of my years have been. It was hard with COVID and everything, but I'm looking more to safety of the kids. Make sure there's coaches there to be able to help them, and then we can train at our own complex where they don't have to catch a bus 4 or 3 or 4 o'clock when they get out of school. They can go ahead and run there, and parents can pick them at the house instead of, or at the school instead of at the high school. And my big thing, you got junior high kids running around the high school for 45 minutes. A lot of things can happen. So my proposal, if you, and I'm hoping we get a head coach at each school and maybe an assistant. I know budgets are tight, but if we can at least split them, it would be awesome. Anybody have any questions?
I do have a couple questions. Mr. Cloy, how many student athletes do we currently have out at East for cross country?
There's over 35 plus.
35 plus. Okay.
At East.
Huh?
Is that
East?
at
Or
East?
total?
Combined.
Oh, both combined.
Do you have an idea for the number for East? Let's say.
So that's about half. We're hoping by splitting them, we can start building teams over this summer that we can reach out to because 6th graders can come and they can compete. I'm taking 6th graders from our track team. I'm Emma Van Every. I coach track, and I'm hoping to help the cross country coach this fall, the new one. But we're hoping to build our teams because we have 2 small teams and we have 1 coach between them. And what we have talked about and what we want at East is to build those teams, because what that does is that strengthens our track teams, it strengthens other athletics, and then we can send a great bunch of kids from both East and West to Minidoka. So on addition to the safety and everything, concentrated coaching to East. I really do. So we probably have about half of that. So maybe 15 to 20 kids currently, but we have plans to build that throughout the summer to see improved numbers.
So along that line with those questions, a couple of things. So we're talking about, let's say, about 20 per school ish. We're looking at, and so we're looking for a head coach for both, and then you would think an assistant for both.
Well, I think safety-wise, I mean, if we can get through 2 head coaches this year, maybe next year looking to add assistants to them, because realize that when they're in Pomerelle, they're running through the mountain. Somebody say, hey, you got to hurt kid this old ankle. Well, the head coach has got to go out and take care of them. There's nobody else there to help take care of the rest of them. What if we had another one go down? I mean,
and I see
every sport, fall sport, well, I guess not football, basketball, people get volunteers, but it's hard enough finding coaches as it is. I mean, I have to beg people to come out and coach.
Yeah.
You know, and my goal is to and help them train, but to be able to hire teachers that want to coach and teach, and so they're in the same school. You know, when you hire people on the street, they're only there for 2 years, maybe because their kids there. And after 2 years, I got to go hire another coach. Or back in the old days, when I coached for 36 years, we taught, we coached, we just lived there. Mary, you know that. You know.
So another fall sport is football. Doesn't football only get 1 stipend per 7th grade and 1 stipend per 8th grade?
No, they got assistant and a head for both grades.
We got gypped.
Well,
no, I'm just joking. Jake and I have coached for years in the junior high before we were on the board, and
It's not about the money one.
we've only had 1 stipend. So. No, I'm just joking. Okay, I just was interested to see how many stipends were going to the other sports too, just to kind of get an idea of how we would manage that.
Well, our indoor sports, volleyball, that they always get somebody that'll help.
Yeah.
You know, and it's a closed area where cross country.
We're out on a terrain and it's spread out, and so we need to have coaches at the finish line, but we also need to have coaches going through and checking them as they go. In the proposal, you'll see it said to check on water, post running, pre-running, all these things. Make sure their numbers are right. Make sure they're not lost, because some of them are super confusing. You go run out to Kasota and you see kids they're not quite sure where they're supposed to be, until they get back in their herd. And so having 2 coaches it is a great idea, but I think our priority, and I think you would agree, is 1 each at the very minimum. The
So I would have, because one's right. Like I said, I actually knew about the stipend because I coached before you did earlier. But there's a lot of people that, like you said, you get parents or whatever that assist that don't necessarily take that money. Is that money being saved to possibly allocate for other coaches in a different?
You're talking about cross country?
Yeah. Well, I'm talking about, let's say there's a football coach that assists the football team but doesn't take money because they're a parent. Is there?
Well, there's a paid assistant, but the other one's just volunteer.
Yeah.
You know, there are people just because their boys are there, they just want to come out and help. But as soon as their boy hits the high school, they're gone.
Right. But I guess one of the years I coached, we were both parents. There was a head coach and I was an assistant coach. Neither one of us took pay. So, is there times like that I'm asking that? Well, I'm just saying, are there things like that there are somebody's tracking some extra, maybe some funds that would help alleviate the cost of adding a coach to cross country or something? And maybe that's not the case. Maybe they're taking pay now and it wouldn't matter. And obviously you can't bank on that every year, but because if they do decide they want to pay,
We have, except for the volunteers, and that's on the head coaches. They enter, he finds somebody to help. They just want to be around the kids. Okay, and that's all right. But it's in flows like volleyball, same thing. But cross country is one of these sports that there's a point A and a point B. And you got to have track. On both ends.
For cross country, I'm talking about.
And we have one coach goes east and west. That's a lot of work for one person.
If we split them, would we still bus them together to the actual events?
Yeah, they all go to the same event.
Okay.
So our first one is in Palmerau, so they would pick them up at east and go or west, or where the bus comes, go to west and come pick us up. Go to Palmerau and drop them off. We've done that in other sports. Where east and west will travel together, like wrestling, or JV kids will go somewhere and we'll pick them up. I try to save money on buses. I mean, I do a lot of driving on small buses, just from Burley or the west. We just don't have it, So, and find bus drivers, it's hard, So.
Yeah, I'm assuming that those buses that come from east and west to Minico are coming from Colleen.
Yeah, they're picking them up for the kids going out to high school, so they get dropped at the high school and then they're over on the track.
So they're already overstaffed and understaffed and everything. We're sending them on doing other routes.
Kids out of class, they're out of school, so she might not get there till 4:15, so they're out there almost an hour, unsupervised. So all I ask you is to think about it. Let us know. But that's my proposal. We could just split them at least and have a head coach in each group.
Well, if we need, my thought is if we're going to offer the sport, we need to keep the kids safe. And so if we're going to do it, then we need to do it right. And if it sounds like we need to have two head coaches and split them, that makes the most sense.
How much is a head coach stipend for?
I'm to be honest, middle school don't get paid very much. I think a head coach, first year head coach, $1,200.
Yeah.
It's like 35 cents an hour.
Is Mr. Trinkle still here?
Yeah, he is. He's back there.
Mr. Trinkle?
Yeah.
You're the district AD. How many stipends do you have for high school cross country? Two? Okay. How many kids approximately?
Well, our assistant was actually considered the head coach of middle school.
I see. Okay.
So, this is a must, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
Okay. And what are we going to do about you?
With the building sport. And I talked to our high school coach about this, and he absolutely loved it because he dealt with the kids coming from the middle school. And when they run, you have to understand they run around the soccer fields where there's 50 cars parked out there if there's a game, running down the dirt road, which goes out the gate where baseball is, circles back around the track and goes from football.
And down the railroad track.
You got basically the assistant head coach kind of monitoring all this, and it's not like Grant said, it's on the safety side. It's not good. We deal with it every year where we got to tell cars to slow down when we have kids running down it, and you can see who the middle school kids are. So, this is a must right here. And the biggest thing to me is what he says. You don't have to let the kids out early. Yeah. They can practice right there at their own facility, so they're not missing 30 minutes of their last hour every single day. Where we all know they already miss enough that the sporting events are into every day if you got to get out. And, that's not very good.
Yeah, I think splitting them definitely makes sense for sure.
Can I second that too? I just think that part of it cannot be emphasized enough. I mean, you think about a half hour a day. I mean, they're missing 2 hours a week of just instruction and however long the more on the cross country meets. So it's really challenging, and even if the teacher's behind and the kids are out, I mean, she was still doing a lot of organizing and wrangling and babysitting and trying to find out where kids are. I mean, it's a real challenge for somebody that's on her staff to manage coaching a team from their classroom when she's not with all the kids, even in her own school, let alone at a school across town. So it's just a really big challenge for in that regard too. But I think the instructional time is an aspect that is really just huge. They're missing a lot of time. So
Thank you. What is the pleasure of the board?
What's that?
What is the pleasure of the board?
I agree with you. If we're going to offer the sport, sounds like there's the safety standpoint alone is worrisome in the current state. So.
I agree. Does anyone want to make a motion?
Madam Chair, I'll make a motion that we split East and West and give them their own cross-country track coach at each school.
Okay. Motion by Mrs. Anderson to allow the proposal before us. Is there a second?
I'll second it.
Okay, second by Mr. Sukan. Any further comments or questions?
I think my only comment and question, I think we should approve the split and each to have their own head coach. I wouldn't mind diving into more to the financials to see if we can afford an assistant as well. So I would say if we amended the proposal right now to just split the two and provide a head coach for each with an opportunity to come back and look at an assistant coach, I would be more comfortable with that.
Madam Chair, I can amend my
First, you guys gonna have to speak up a little bit. I'm sorry.
Madam Chair, I can amend my first proposal of splitting the East and West cross-country track with a head coach each, coming back and reevaluating for an assistant at a later date, depending on funding.
Okay. Do you have that, Ms. Tibbetts?
Yes, I do.
Okay. Mr. Sukan, is that amendment acceptable to your second?
Yes.
All right. Any other comments or questions? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, motion carries.
Where are you going to get your uniforms?
Thank you, huh?
Where are you going to get your uniforms?
I get that $5,000 you give me every
Okay,
year.
there you go. That's what I wanted to hear.
I don't know what Wes is gonna do, but we are.
And it would be nice to have purple uniforms and not those red ones. We love Minidoka, but we want them to be Pirates first.
Okay.
So I'm super excited. Thanks,
Thank
guys.
you. Appreciate it.
Bye.
hey, we traded dance for that one, correct?
Oh, you did. West hasn't answered it yet. You just gave it in.
Okay, West Minico Community Schools would like to host a golf scramble for some fundraising. We have the proposal before us in board book. Did anyone have any comments or questions? Or I know that Mr. Kniep is here. Is Miss Rich?
I don't believe so.
I don't see her. Okay. Does anyone have any comments or questions?
What's it going for?
My only question was, do we have a date around that, Mr. Kniep?
We're looking at towards the end of June.
At the Ponderosa, correct?
That's what we're thinking. And
Okay.
it'd either be that or the River's Edge. Part of that, though, is also based on availability.
What is the funding going for?
It's just to boost our community schools program.
Oh,
so
okay.
One of the things we're starting to do is get some more family engaging activities. We did the barbecue. We did a movie night. Thanks to our hotel, they brought in a sound system as well as a visual projector. So we basically did a little mini theater. But we did have copyright permission because we reached out to Paramount and paid a small fee so that we were able to provide that service. And looking ahead, right now, we're going to go ISAT testing. We've definitely worked with our PTO as our staff and then with our community schools. And today we had about 20 parents that came in and helped this test. And that is something I've never seen before. And the great feedback was impressive. And one person though that does deserve some credit in this too is that Mr. Joe Fairchild. He reached out in the community and was able to get a sponsor to provide meals for him. So holistically, thinking community and family based, that's where this scramble is going to go towards.
Okay.
Investing into our kids.
And also, the grant diminishes each year. Is that correct? So you need to
Yes.
self-fund if you're going to keep it going, right?
Yep, exactly.
So this would help with that.
Yeah.
Okay.
But one of the things I do want to say is that we're getting more than our bang for our buck as far as keeping Mrs. Rich around. She's doing a phenomenal job and she's helping out, not just in the community schools, but wherever we need.
Wonderful. Good to hear. Okay. Does anyone want to make a motion to accept the proposal for West Minico's community school golf scramble?
I'll make a motion. They had me at golf, so I'll make a motion that we approve the proposal for West Minico Community Schools to host a golf scramble.
Okay, motion by Mr. Claridge.
Second.
Second by Mr. Siri says Suchin.
Suchin.
Yep, Suchin. Does anyone have any other comments or questions? Okay. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, motion carries. We have no policies. I don't have to read a list. Hallelujah. I would entertain a motion for adjournment.
Madam Chair, I'll make that motion to adjourn.
By Mrs. Anderson.
Second.
Second by Mr. Supan. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? We are adjourned. Thank you.